Hi, welcome to Solomon Says, a division of Hebrew Wizards. I'm here to teach you everything that you need to know about being Jewish so that you too can become a wizard. Hi, I made this board just for you. It's called the 4 questions, and it's the questions that we ask on Passover. So, let's start with the main question. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halaylot. Why is this night different from all other nights? Well, in Judaism, we like to try to put ourselves in another person's shoes, what it might have felt like to be slaves in Egypt, and how we can be compassionate and thoughtful to our ancestors who came before us. So here we ask ourselves, why is this night different from all other nights? What are we trying to remember? And we sing it like this. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halaylot, mikol halaylot. So that's how it starts out. And we're going to go now to the first question. If you want to remember what the first question is, let's look at the picture here. It's saying no bread, no challah, but we're having matzah. Because when the Jewish people were told that it's time to leave Egypt, they didn't have enough time to let their bread rise. They had to run and go and gather their things, and then they had to be off. And their bread was not able to rise. And it is said that the bread was a matzah. They should eat the unleavened bread like the slaves did when they exited Egypt for the first time under the leadership of Moses and his brother Aaron and his sister Miriam. So we like to remind ourselves that our ancestors had to run and flee, and so we too, for 8 days, we too eat matzah during that holiday, as it is mentioned in our Torah. So let's start with the first question. As you see, we'll start from the very, very main question, which is, why is this night different from all other nights? So let's try it together. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halaylot, mikol halaylot. Now the first question. Shebechol halaylot anu ochlim chametzu matzah, chametzu matzah. Halayla hazeh kulo matzah. Halayla hazeh kulo matzah. So we'll stop there for a second. So it says, on all other nights, we eat chametz, which is bread, but today we're having, on this night, halayla hazeh, we're having only matzah. So on all other nights, we are able to have whatever we want. Ochlim chametz, which is bread, or matzah. But on this day, halayla, on this night, we only have matzah. So here we have the second question. Let's sing it together. It's easier to sing it together, nice and slowly. Shebechol halaylot anu ochlim she'ar yirakot, she'ar yirakot. Halayla hazeh maror, maror. Halayla hazeh maror, maror. So what does this say? Here is the little wizard, and doesn't look happy having this bitter herbs. And the bitter herbs reminds us of the bitterness that the Jewish people had to endure during slavery in Egypt. And we want to feel like we can understand what that bitterness felt like. By tasting the bitterness, we can recall what our ancestors felt. So here we are, Shebachol. On other nights, we eat on anu ochlim, she'ar yarakot, different vegetables. But on this night, we eat maror, bitter vegetables, bitter herbs. So that's our second question. The third question, Shebachol halelot, so Shebachol halelot, einanu matbilin, afilu pa'am echat, afilu pa'am echat, halayla hazeh, shetei fe'amim, halayla hazeh, shetei fe'amim. So this says, as you see the little wizards dipping, how come we are dipping not once, but we're dipping twice? Shetei fe'amim. Why on this night? Halayla hazeh. Why on this night do we dip 2 times? When other nights we just dip once. And we like to think about how we dip into the bitter herbs, we dip into the salt water. So we dip karpas in the salt water, and then we dip maror in the charoset. So on this particular question, we're saying we're dipping twice. And our last question. Here we have our wizard sitting on a pillow, relaxing in a chair. We're relaxing because we don't get to relax when you're a slave. We're enjoying relaxing on this particular night. On all other nights, we sit straight in our chairs, but tonight, we get to lean whatever side we want. So let's sing this together. Shebachol halelot, anu ochlim, ben yoshvin uvein mesubin. Ben yoshvin uvein mesubin. Halayla hazeh, kulanu mesubim. Halayla hazeh, kulanu mesubin. So it says on other nights, we sit straight up, but on this night, halayla hazeh, kulanu mesubim, we lean. On other nights we sit straight, but today we get to lean. Tonight we get to lean. So these are what it is. We say, why are we doing this? We're doing this to remind ourselves what it felt like to be slaves in Egypt. And if we remember that our first commandment of the 10 commandments is, I am the Lord your God who freed you from slavery from Egypt. We respect God with number 3 because there's only one God, which is number 2. So these are very, very important things to do. These are the questions we ask ourselves, and the youngest child is asked to ask the questions because we want to notice what our youngest child sometimes feels left out. So these are the 4 questions, and by asking these 4 questions, says the wise wizard, we remember how God instructed Moses to free the Jewish people and lead the Exodus out of Egypt. We hope that that's helpful. You can go on to my app, the Hebrew Wizards Wanna Be a Wizard app. In the Wizard app, either on iPad or iPhone, you'll find the Manish Tana, the 4 questions. You'll see this board, and we'll also be able to play along and sing along on the game. So please feel free to do that, and you'll be able to join and learn the 4 questions so that you can participate in your Seder. Hope to see you next time on Solomon Says. 'Cause I wanna be a wizard.